Hello, Garland ISD family. Thank you for joining our pre-K and kinder enrollment tonight here on Facebook Live via Zoom. My name is Jonathan Armstrong. I'm the coordinator for Family and Community Engagement Department here in Garland. And we have some really special guests with us tonight. They're going to talk about the early childhood programs that are available in Garland ISD. Now, if you have a child who will turn 3 or 4 or 5 by September 1st, stay tuned to hear about our Montessori program, our pre-K program, and kindergarten program. Now, I have some questions prepared for our guests, but we're also going to be looking for questions in the chat from you. So if you're watching this live, please drop your questions or comments in the chat. Now, our team is monitoring the chat. They're going to be answering questions as quickly as they can, but some of them they're going to share with the panelists. Now, if you're watching the recording, be sure to tell your friends, be sure to like it, be sure to share it, and let everyone know that this is for them too, right? Again, I'm Jonathan Armstrong, coordinator for the GISD Family and Community Engagement Department. And if you're just joining us, it's about early childhood programs in Garland ISD. We're going to be posting a video of tonight's program with Spanish and Vietnamese captions tomorrow on our YouTube channel. Publicaremos videos con subtítulos en español y vietnamita de nuestras presentaciones después de cada evento. So if you have a friend and you think they need to know about it too, be sure to let them know that it's available for everyone. Now, question number 1, let's get started. For our amazing panel members, please introduce yourself and tell us how you serve the families of Garland ISD.
Good evening. My name is Chastity Bass, and I'm the Early Childhood Coordinator for Garland ISD. I support pre-K teachers by providing curriculum, training, and instructional support. I serve families in GISD by providing teachers with resources that parents can use at home, such as Circle Home Activities, MyOn, and Region 10 Family Resources. Glad to be here tonight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Disa McEwen. I am the principal at Parsons Pre-K, and I serve the families and communities of Garland by ensuring that our early learners are supported with a well-rounded curriculum and a staff that makes learning fun.
Buenas noches. Good evening. I am the proud principal at the Classical Center at Vail, and my name is Beatriz Martinez. It's such a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Qué privilegio de estar con ustedes hoy esta noche, familias de Garland ISD.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lady Denise Coleman, and I have the privilege of being the school counselor at Luna Elementary, where I get the opportunity to work with 3- and 4-year-olds in a Montessori magnet program.
Good evenings. My name is Debbie Nguyen, and I am a pre-K Vietnamese pre-K teacher at Parsons Pre-K.
Hi, my name is Tammy Todd, and I have the privilege of teaching kindergarten at Watson Math and Science Technology Center.
We are so glad y'all have joined us tonight. Families, if you're looking at this screen and you're looking at all these amazing people, you just have to know that we got you the real experts tonight, okay? And they're going to give you an inside look at the classroom, and they're going to give you some ideas for why you want to join Garland ISD, and then what you can do. I hope they're going to give us some tips over the summer, what you can do to think about getting ready for the big day next August. But first, big question here. What does a typical day look like in a GISD early childhood classroom? And that could be Montessori, pre-K, or kindergarten.
All right. Little bit of a disclaimer. There's never really a completely typical day in pre-K or kindergarten because of the spontaneity of 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. And that's one of the reasons why we all do it. We love the creativity and the spontaneity that comes from our youngest learners, but a typical schedule that we have planned for our students would be a morning greeting time, a greeting circle where we get to talk with the students. They get to share about their feelings. They get to share about maybe something that's important to them. We really get an opportunity to help that child feel a part of a school community. So that morning greeting time is very important for social emotional learning. Then also a part of our schedule is our morning message. We also include some music and movement. Your boys and girls won't be just sitting down all the time. That kinesthetic learning is very, very important important for them to make connections. And then likewise, let's see, we also have practice centers and small group instruction. Your boys and girls will have time learning about science and social studies. And one highlight right now is we have our theme 7, which is critters. And so our pre-K boys and girls, they're going to have hands-on experience with crickets, butterflies, and worms and bugs. And I tell you what, these experiences are so important to help our boys and girls to be school ready.
Thank you.
In addition to the things that Ms. Bass mentioned, another part of a typical day that pre-K students have the opportunity to engage in is what's called a specials time, whether it's in the library or the gym. And also they get to do some outdoor explorations. It's not unusual for teachers to take their class outside and to take their learning to where out in the fresh open air and just allow the students to experience learning in a fun and diverse way. So that's something that happens in a typical day at a pre-K campus or pre-K classroom.
Well, I'd like to expand on that. I think that one of the great things that we have in Garland ISD is the different options that you have for students to explore. So for example, how many of us want to get our students to college and they're still trying to decide what degree they're going to get? Here in Garland ISD, we start that exploration as soon as pre-K because some of the campuses, each campus is very unique within itself and has a special gift that gives to our community. But what's so cool about that is that, you know what, the commitment doesn't have to be to one campus. Maybe you have a child that's very interested in math or science. Maybe you have a child that wants to explore more of the hands-on and go towards Montessori, and you have that availability because we are a choice school district, and that is amazing because, so for example, at my campus at Classical Center at Val Elementary, we house 2 different magnet programs under one roof. We house the dual language, 2-way dual language program right along with the fine arts, where we have, in addition to the traditional specialist teachers, we also have a drama teacher, and we have our students perform at least 2 different musicals throughout the year. That's just one of many examples where your options begin as early as pre-K.
Thank you.
Another option that our Garland ISD families have is Montessori, which is a part of the magnet program in Garland ISD. What makes our magnet program so unique is that we start with age 3. We start with those 3-year-olds that are 3 by September 1st. That classroom, our 3 and 4-year-olds have the opportunity to work with students that are their same age and possibly older because it's a mixed age class. It's 3s, 4s, and 5s all in the same classroom. Because we're a Montessori magnet, the thing that we focus on is independence and self-discipline. We provide our students not only the academic piece, but also real life opportunities to practice life skills that they're going to need not only at 3, but they'll need again at 33.
Well, I agree with Ms. Bass and Ms. McEwen because I am a pre-K teacher, and what they said, it's basically what we do in the classroom. But also in the classroom, what we did is the student get to rotate. And when they rotate to different centers, they are learning to be independent, and they are actually working on their own. And since I'm the bilingual Vietnamese teachers, the student in my classroom get a chance to learn Vietnamese. And by the time they finish my classroom and move up to the next grade level, they are continuing with the Vietnamese language, and they will be able to speak 2 languages.
Nice.
I have the privilege of teaching at Watson Math and Science Technology Center, and so we have a lot of special programs and things that are unique to our campus as well. One of those is project-based learning. And so this is a really unique opportunity to be able to have a real-world experience with your learning. Let me give you a highlight. One of our units that we do for social studies is the community, and the children get to actually build a community. They take recyclable materials like cereal boxes and get to cut them and decorate them with paper and make a building that they think is important for our community. We tie in the technology by having them create a video where they explain why that building is so important. And we use a fancy app that when you scan their building, their video pops up and you get to watch it. We have all the parents come and be a part of that moment. And project-based learning is just a really unique experience we enjoy. One other thing that's special at Watson is STEAM School. STEAM School is an enrichment program where the children get to pick an elective, anything from coding and robotics to music around the world, where they build instruments, and also put on a program about all the different cultures and music that is shared around the world. Lots of different choices. So your children are not having to wait till middle school and high school to pick an elective. They're doing it at age 5.
Wow. So there's no typical day. We don't have typical learners. Every child is unique. But I did hear some common themes. And that is, if you were to peek in on a classroom in an early childhood program, you would see children moving around, exploring, building, sharing, talking, and learning. So, wow. Makes me want to go back to pre-K. That's all.
Jonathan, we've got a chat question if I can break in.
Yes, ma'am.
We actually have 2, and I want to make sure I get these right for our folks. We have one parent that is asking, and I know we alluded to this just a little bit, but if we can clarify, are pre-K students able to be involved in the dual language program? That's the first question. And I think Ms. Martinez might be the best person to answer that, but I will defer to Ms. Martinez.
Sure, I would love to answer that question. So yes, they do have the availability to do that. We have a one-way dual language program that begins as early as pre-K. For the magnet two-way dual language program, the entry is in kindergarten. I hope I answered that question.
I feel good about that.
All right.
You nailed that. Okay, so here's the other question, and I want to make sure this one stumped me just a little bit, so I'm kind of asking our team on the side to make sure I ask this properly. So this is basically what they're saying. Can you talk on how you are pushing up developmentally appropriate practice for early childhood in your kinder class? But she clarifies a little bit. She says, how are you making sure kinder looks like an early childhood classroom rather than a regular elementary classroom? And so I'm going to ask Ms. Bass to answer that question, if that's okay, Jonathan, because I think she might be the best person. So what's the difference between that early childhood in pre-K kinder and just a regular elementary experience?
All right. So we definitely are focusing in on being developmentally appropriate for our pre-K and our kindergartners. There's a very big push with the state from our House Bill 3 that makes sure that we're meeting certain criteria for high quality pre-K and kindergarten. And so we're doing our best to make sure that boys and girls have plenty of exploration, just as you've heard the teachers talk about already. Lots of movement in the classroom, opportunities for inquiry, opportunities for asking questions, opportunities to play. Okay, that's one of the key indicators that changes things, where it may be structured play. It may be play that has a focus. Maybe the teacher is working on a certain skill, right? And so they give them the opportunity to play, ask questions, and create. So we make sure that we are not pushing them too fast developmentally, but that we are mindful of where our students are developmentally and providing those opportunities to play and explore.
Because the common complaint in the past was that we didn't let little boys be little boys sometimes, right?
That's
they needed to get up and move more.
Mm-hmm.
And so really the emphasis now is to give children time to mature and learn at the same time.
Absolutely, Jonathan.
So if you have just joined us, I am Jonathan Armstrong, coordinator for the Garland ISD Family and Community Engagement Department. And we're here tonight with our panel of experts. We're talking about the early childhood programs in Garland ISD. And so the next question then, and I kind of like the way it ties into the last question we got from the chat, is how do parents know their child is ready to enroll in an early childhood program? And Ms. Bass, we'll come back to you with that one.
All right. Okay, children, y'all, they're born ready to learn first. I want to start there. As soon as they get here, I tell you, take those moments with them, holding them close, reading books with them, talking more with them, taking turns, expanding their conversations, and then As soon as they are 3, 4, and 5, before September 1st, y'all bring them to us. Are they showing you signs of curiosity? Are they asking questions? Are they seeking answers all the time about things? Are they getting into things? And that, yes, that's exactly what we want them to do. Are they building at home? Are they starting to count? They're starting to line things up. That's the boys and girls telling you, I'm ready for more. And if you bring them to GISD, we're going to expand that desire for those boys and girls to learn more through our great curriculum and our fabulous teachers who are certified and trained to work with early childhood.
In addition to what Ms. Bass said about if they're showing those signs, and you may say, well, my child isn't showing that many signs. That's okay. If your child is just and because every child is different, if your child's, my child is shy, well, guess what? They're perfect for us too. Because in our atmosphere, we present them with opportunities to grow and expand out of their shells and begin to communicate with peers and learn how to do that give and take that comes with learning and how to be cooperative. So again, whether your child is outgoing or your child is shy, if they're 3, 4, or 5, we're ready for them. Bring them. They're ready to come and learn in Garland ISD.
All right.
So I want to come back and just ask the question to our families, and that is, what makes you think that the children, that they're not ready for pre-K? By providing children with the opportunity to meet others, they are given the opportunity to start developing the soft skills that are going to be most critical for them. Collaboration, that only happens when you have children working with other students. Communication, like you said, Ms. McEwen. Critical thinking, being creative, and thinking outside of the box. I think that this is the perfect opportunity to have our students begin to develop that outside of their norm, outside of their routine, and in a new environment. So my question is going to come back to you, families. I think that if you are just willing to trust us, my question is, what makes you think your child is not ready? I bet they are.
And I love that you brought up, everyone is bringing up the emotional skills, right? The habits, the personality. There's an economist, and he just points out that the children that have those skills, right? The ability to persist, the ability to negotiate, the ability to cooperate, the creativity, those are the ones that are going to be successful long-term. And just knowing your numbers and your letters, you might be top of your class in that area, but it's the children that have the other skills that Beatrice, you called them the soft skills. And pre-K and kinder, those are the perfect years to be learning those skills in a warm, nurturing environment that we're going to provide for you right here in Garland ISD. And if you hear the enthusiasm in the voice of our panel members, you know it's true. Question number 3 then, or let's move on to the next question. I'm sorry. For some of our teachers here, what are the amazing moments or milestones that you get to witness in our early childhood classroom? And Ms. Coleman, we'll start with you. Just what are some of those moments that the teachers or that you, because you go into the classroom, you're a counselor, but you're in those classrooms providing those lessons on those soft skills, the social emotional skills. What are some of those amazing moments that you get to witness as children grow and develop in that classroom?
So for me, I have the opportunity to see, again, even our youngest learners at age 3 really develop a sense of independence. I'll give you an example. In the cafeteria, at the beginning of the school year, it's all hands on deck just so we can monitor and let these little ones adjust to eating in a cafeteria in a group setting. After that first week, we also went back in as a staff, monitor and support. But what I saw were 3-year-olds getting excited that they can open their own juice pouch. I had one little girl say, Miss Coleman, my mommy never lets me open my own pouch. She thinks I'm going to spill it. And I said, look at you, are you spilling it? She said, no. She even said, can you tell my mommy I can do it by myself? That's wonderful. Right. Confidence, independence. Our students in the classroom, some of their shelf work is glass. They learn how to have control of movement, control of their body. And when they accomplish that, just a little task of something they can do on their own, their eyes light up. It is amazing. Now, by this time of the year, I'm seeing kids that are self-disciplined, but I'm also seeing even our 3s and 4s, they're problem solving. I was almost afraid I would be out of a job because our kids are not turning to their classroom teacher with conflict resolutions. They're not calling for Miss Coleman to come and help me work this out. They're turning to each other. They're having dialogue. They're having conversation. This is what you did. This is how it made me feel. Other person has the opportunity to give their side, and they come together for a common reason, to settle the situation. So those are the things that I see: independence, a love for learning, and really that self-discipline, even with our 3s and 4s.
Wow.
Well,
Jonathan, I'm sorry. Go, Miss Wynn. There's a question from the chat though, Miss Wynn. When you're done, don't let me lose it.
I agree with what all the things that Ms. Coleman mentions, and that's what I also see in my classroom. But there are a lot of amazing things that happen in the classroom as a classroom teachers. And what I see the most amazing thing is that they came in with a lot of them come in with nothing, and by the time they get to know how to write the name, they were able to count, and they are able to say the alphabet. You can see it in their eyes. It's like some things that really spark, and they think that they has learned something, and it's built up their confidence at school. So for academics wise, those are the ones that build up their self-esteem in the classroom.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wynn. Yes, and thank you so much, Jonathan. Okay, so here's the question, because it was so perfectly in line with what our teachers are saying. So this parent asked, how do the pre-K instructors, or you all the teachers, recognize children who may quickly demonstrate their mastery of academic objectives, or even those that show social mastery? And how do you work with those students who are advancing quickly?
I'll answer part of it. Lakeisha, I can speak to our small groups. We have small group instruction that we offer throughout the day, where we can provide differentiation. So we are monitoring our students and seeing how they're performing and how they're excelling. And if they are excelling, we make sure to meet those students right where they are. We do have curriculum and resource support for our boys and girls who are performing above level. So small group instruction is really where the teacher gets to provide that differentiation with her students in the classroom.
And I'll just speak from the Montessori Magnet program. Again, our primary classroom is multi-age. It's 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, and 5-year-olds. The nice thing about having that mixed age is Montessori is going to follow the student. We're not looking at grade placement. We're not looking at chronological age. We are looking at what the child has mastered and what are they ready to do next. So we have some of our 4-year-olds who start with us, and eventually they're working side by side with our kindergarten students, and it looks seamless. In the same sense, we have some of our kindergarten students who might still need some extra times on concepts. They're not having to wait with a whole classroom to catch up. We can allow them the opportunity to work with others in the classroom and progress them through the curriculum. Same with our 3s and 4-year-olds. When they are on our campus, the Montessori Magnet, it starts at a baseline, and then as they show mastery, we move them through the curriculum.
I wanted to add one more thing to the parents' question. For those students that are socially, emotionally advanced, what we've had happen at Parsons, those students actually become some of our student leaders, in that if they will see, and it actually kind of happen just naturally. If there's a child that's having a hard time, especially coming in the building, there are times the kids will say, you know what, and that student that is advanced, will go, hey, can I walk with you to your class? And so when we see that, we encourage those skills to continue, because if they're socially, emotionally at a different level and able to help their friends, the kids know that they can help a friend, help them get to, or even they'll have a question, ask them, hey, how are you doing? And it's so much more powerful when you see another 4-year-old asking, hey, that's okay, mom will be back, telling and encouraging and supporting another peer. Although we do it as adults, it's powerful to know that if your child is at an advanced, we're going to try to put them in situations where they can still continue to utilize those skills and yet still grow and develop themselves.
That gave me goosebumps, Jonathan. I've got another chat question. Y'all, the chat is very busy today. For those of you who've been on with us, you know, we don't get this much action, but these pre-K parents and kinder parents want to know. So here's a question from the chat. And again, I'm not sure the best person to ask this, Jonathan. I'll defer to you. What does center time look like, specifically in kindergarten? Is there free choice, or centers presented at the table by the teacher direction, or do students move around the room navigating choice and self-regulation? How long is center time? What centers are offered, and are they tied to classroom projects and work to develop knowledge and understanding in a meaningful way? So this parent really has a lot of questions about center time. And I think it was because you guys talked about the importance of play. So they want to hear more.
So let's give Ms. Todd a chance to answer, because it's kinder. And then Ms. Bass, if you want to go into it a little bit different because of, you know, different schools, different models.
Okay, and center time is actually a very fluid experience, because at the beginning of the year, it's going to look a lot different than what it looks like today. So at the beginning of the year, you're going to see a lot of play style centers. You're going to see blocks, Legos, home living. I have a drama puppet station. And there's about 12 of them. So I have to think back to the beginning of the year, but those are a few of the highlights. And what we're focusing on is social emotional learning. How do we play together? How do we handle a conflict that arises? We both get the same puppet. What do we do about that? How do we work out taking turns and sharing? This is one reason you don't need to worry about sending them on, because that's our job. That's what we do. If you don't have a sibling at home, no problem. We'll work it out. I'll show you how to play with a friend. And so at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be very much moving around the room, watching them play with each other, helping to work out these different challenges as we go. As we go throughout the year and they become more independent and they've got it, and they can do conflict resolution and they can problem solve, then you're going to start to see more of the things that we've been teaching in our whole group lessons go into the stations and the centers. You're going to see building words with Play-Doh with stamps. You're going to see sounding out words and matching pictures to the word. While they're doing this, I'm going to start pulling the small groups that she's referencing and start working with our children that maybe they don't know letters and sounds, and we're going to start with A says ah. But then I may have another group that we're reading, and those kids may be starting with a kindergarten level decodable reader. And this is kind of October-ish, and we're going to be working on things like that. Then as you get further, let's say closer to where we are now, they become very independent, and there may be some projects in some centers where they're working on maybe their project-based learning experience. Maybe they're making a video about one of those community buildings we were talking about. And again, I'm pulling small groups. And now you may have a small group where your highest group is doing a novel study. 1 year, my kids and I read Henry and Mudge. And then we did a novel study with Henry and Mudge. And my kids that have been struggling, now they're up to decodable readers. And we're reading on a kindergarten level. And that's exciting. And it just keeps going like that. And towards the end of the year, you know, the Writing Center, they're writing how-to books, and they're 5 pages long. And, you know, so it evolves over the year. It's not really a stationary experience. I hope that helps.
I think you just managed to answer 2 or 3 questions at once.
I hope so. That was cool.
Because I heard the centers and I heard the differentiation, which is true in pre-K, and we hope in all the grades, right? That as a child shows that he's able to master this skill, well, we don't stop there and wait till June. We give you something else to do. And it's kind of like taking the training wheels off the bicycle. Oh, you can do this? Then we're going to give you a chance to do it independently. And we're going to give you a chance to see how far you can go. And I heard that in your answer. But Ms. Bass, anything else you want to add to that?
Ms. Todd, amazing answer. Thank you so much. She started us at the beginning of the year and progressed, because it does look very different from the beginning of the year because there's lots of modeling and practice. The one thing I will pull out for our pre-K is that we have the teacher and the paraprofessional there. So during center time, it's going to look very much like what Ms. Todd talked about. We'll have our 7 super centers that involve Writer's Corner, ABC, construction, fine motor station, literacy, and math. Don't forget Pretend and Learn. Super crucial, of course, for pre-K boys and girls, science and sensory happening, and technology. But at that same time, that those boys and girls, after, just how Ms. Todd explained, after we've modeled, we've shown them how to do those centers, the teacher is going to pull a small group, but the paraprofessional is also going to pull a small group. And that is one of the benefits of bringing our boys and girls to pre-K, because you're going to have a certified teacher and a paraprofessional that is there to help provide the differentiation that we talked about earlier, also to extend the learning with the questioning. And so it's just a wonderful, fluid experience that happens in our classrooms with practice centers.
Thank you. And Ms. Todd, I feel like you already answered that other question about the amazing moments or milestones, is you're talking about novel studies. But let's flip it then. I'm guessing that you've had parents come up to you and say, wow, I didn't know my child could, or wow, I saw this, my child did this. What are some of those things that parents get to, I don't know, discover about their child because their child is in a classroom where they're being nurtured and challenged?
And one of my favorite experiences was doing parent conferences one year, and I had pulled out the child's writing portfolio, and the dad, his eyes were huge, and he was like, he wrote this by himself. Yes, sir. This is a how-to book on how to play soccer. Yes, sir. He just kept turning pages, and the glow and the amazement. He was like, he can do this? I was like, oh, yes, sir. And he was just in total shock and awe. I wasn't, because I've been watching it all year. I got to experience it and have my own shock and awe moments throughout the year. But having him actually sit there and turn those pages and just be amazed at what he could do was just my extreme honor to get to be a part of that moment. So there's so many, from learning to tie your shoe, from learning to be able to leave mom and walk in the front door and come in the classroom. I could go on forever. I'll stop there, but there's so many.
Oh, good deal. So here's a question for some of our administrators here. From time to time, we hear parents ask, why is pre-K and kinder important? Or does my child really need pre-K? How do you respond to those questions?
If we could all say it in unison, Dice and Beatriz, we would all say, yes, we've got to make sure. Oh, it's so important. Yes, yes, yes. It's so important to have those opportunities with our boys and girls as soon as possible. First, this is going to help them to get kindergarten ready and school ready. Our program that we offer is a full day for our 4s, and for our 3, 4s, and 5s is a full day program, which means we get a full day with our boys and girls to work with them on self-regulation skills. You're going to see our pre-K boys and girls practicing breathing techniques. We get tickled sometimes because the teachers say, no, I need to practice the breathing techniques also. And so we're working on self-regulation skills together. Also, it gives them an opportunity to explore different content. Your boys and girls are going to get to learn so much about science, social studies, and other areas, literacy and math. And so definitely we want to have them early. Also, they'll get depth since they're with us for a full day. And then studies have shown that students that attend a high quality pre-K program, that they graduate. So I always tell the teachers, when you're looking at those pre-K students, you are looking at future graduates. Now, I get chills right there, Ms. Culpepper, because that's a big deal. When we look at our pre-K and K students, we're seeing future graduates because we got them early.
I know as from Parsons, from a standpoint, another thing that the students really experience in, I guess that I see on a day in, day out basis is that social emotional development. From a child that it's, I know when our kids leave us, sometimes it's that separation anxiety because they've only been with mom, dad, aunt, grandma, grandpa. They have not been out of our family unit. When they come into the school, they learn to trust the staff and the administrators and the people, the adults there, and they learn how to use their words and advocate for themselves. I don't feel good. I'm sad. Well, why are you sad? Because my mom left me, but I promise you she'll come back. And it's so amazing to see them grow in that aspect, so that when you know that you're leaving your child at school, they're in a safe place, but then the student also is assured that I'm coming here, but then I know mom and dad are going to come back and pick me up. So that's some of those. And you begin to see that in them, like I said, from that social emotional aspect, but also from that growth and development in the language that they pick up. When they pick up a new word, oh my goodness, I can go down the hall. Miss McEwen, did you know an insect? Oh, it's all about bugs right now. Do you know how it has a torso and it has legs? And did you know what the name of them are? I said, no, Mama, no, I don't. And so allowing the child to teach the adults that are around, because that's when we know that they have the content, when they're able to take us and make us the students and they become the teachers. When you allow your students to come into a GISD school, be it in pre-K or kinder, that's what you're giving your children the opportunity to experience.
I love it, Miss McEwen. I don't know why I have to go after you, but look at this. This program is so fabulous and one of a kind. You have a whole department of top-notch specialists that are working to bring out the very best in your child. So it's like this. Do you really need a Lamborghini? Maybe not, but if you have the opportunity to have one, why wouldn't you take it? And yes, I am calling our pre-K primary program a Lamborghini. No, make that a Bugatti. And guess what? This Bugatti is free. Why don't you need it? Come join us. You won't regret it. Telling you what.
All right. Well, after this show, I'm going to go out to my Toyota Camry and feel a little bit depressed about it now. But,
Jonathan, I feel like Miss Martinez needs to make a commercial for us, just for the record. And I've got a couple quick questions from the chat, Jonathan. I know you're racing to the end of our questions, but y'all, really, the chat is hot tonight. So I have like 3 questions, just real quick for anyone. We've talked about full school day. Miss Bass, like, what are the hours? Parents are like, what time does school start? When do we bring them? When do we pick them up?
Yes. All righty. Our typical school day is from 3:10 to 8:10. Ladies, did I get that right? Decent or 3? Oh, switch. What did I say? 8:10 to 3:10. All right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. We got to switch that. Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. They'd be like, we're not going to bring them, y'all. But yes, it is a typical day. Now, be mindful. They are going to get what we call a cognitive break in pre-K, which is a nap time and a snack time. So although you may look at it and say, oh my goodness, this is a long day, you would be amazed at how our boys and girls transition into that day. And we're very mindful to keep a visual schedule up for the students, so that way they know when mommy and daddy are coming back. That was a very big deal for us to do this year, was to make sure to have pictures, and so that the boys and girls could follow along to know the schedule of the day. But the cognitive break and the snack time, and of course, recess time and specials at many campuses help to break up that day. And it makes it very doable for a 3, 4, and 5-year-old.
All right. And you answered, Ms. Bass, the second question, which was, do they get naps? Can you talk to them? Because we use these terms a lot of times. Mm-hmm. We say specials. I don't know if our families know what that means. So when we say they get a nap time and snack time and sometimes specials, what are specials?
All right. And then Ms. McEwen and Beatriz, you chime in here as well. We've given our different campuses are allowing certain students, different classes to have specials. Pre-K, they've had to get very creative. So they do, most of the times, the pre-K gets one special most of the time, and it is typically PE, and we all know why. And so that we give those pre-Kers a little bit more time to move. Other campuses have been able to provide music instruction for pre-K students at least once a week. Some of them have a rotating schedule. Some of them have also had a rotating schedule with library. And so typically specials include library, music, sometimes even art. and library are included in the specials times for our students. And our cognitive break or nap time, it runs from either 15 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on the campus.
Awesome. I want to add one other special in there for our campus. The kids actually have computer lab as part of their as a part of their special rotation.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. McEwen. And then the last question, which I know may be tricky for us to answer. Parents are saying if school ends at 3:10, what happens to our child after? Is there aftercare on campus? Are programs they can do on campus? Or what do most families do if they can't get to pick their kiddos up because they're still at work?
I can say for our campus, a lot of the parents that aren't able to pick them up usually use a daycare that will provide shuttle service to our local schools, and that's how they manage that piece. I also know I've had parents that were friends, relatives. They have someone, a family member that is a designated person with the district that you as a parent select, and they are also as available to transport the student or to and from or from school.
And at Luna Elementary on our campus, we go 8:10 to 3:30, and we do provide an after-school care program specifically for our 3 and 4-year-olds. It goes from 3:30 to 6 p.m. and it's housed on our campus. And the nice thing is we basically just extend that Montessori day. The after-school care program is on a rotation basis with our Montessori teachers and our specials teachers. So the 3s and 4s are familiar with these people. They know who they are. And so at the end of the school day, they will all get together, they'll eat snack together, have a focused activity depending on what the day is, have another recess time, another activity time, and by then parents are ready to be picked, students are ready to be picked up. I will mention that after school care for our 3s and 4s is $50 per week.
Well, thank y'all. Ms. Culpepper, any more questions?
No, most of the other questions that remain really are general questions about the process, and we've shared those links. You guys did great.
Right. So then final question for us. What have we not discussed, but you feel it is really, really important for families to know?
All right. There are 2 very important things that should be coming home soon with your students. And this is something that we've been talking about with the family. So family engagement, we've been talking also about 30 million words. The teachers this year have been talking a lot about, and we've been doing a book study about 30 million words. We've been encouraging parents to tune in more. That means we're putting away our cell phones. I got mine right here by my side. But what are we doing with our students to increase this language development and getting them ready for kinder, getting them school ready, tune into them, talk more to them versus them looking at a television show, talk to those boys and girls, and then take turns with them. So as they say something, you go right ahead and take turns with them to model that communication. That really helps them to get school ready and look for information. Those boys and girls who are already in pre-K that are going to kindergarten, look for information about the Week of the Young Child. It's a great week-long celebration that occurs from April the 2nd through the 8th, and it celebrates children, young children, and families. So we'll be sending you some resources here soon so that you can encourage families and likewise encourage your children.
Ms. McEwen, anything you want to get off your chest here? You're muted.
Ms. Bass has covered everything. I don't think I could add anything to what she said, other than definitely bring your students on in, and we welcome them in with loving arms. I do take that back. There's one thing I do want to remember, parents, as you're bringing them in, one thing we encourage is to walk them up. I can say one of the positives that has come out of COVID is the way in which we do our receiving practices. I use this analogy with my staff, How many, as a parent, how many of us take our children to grandma's and just drive by and drop them off? No, we walk them off. The importance of walking your child up to the door and making that adult to adult handoff exchange helps soothe them. It helps, it affirms something in them that, okay, this is a safe place for me to be. Mm-hmm. And so when we let them walk up, not packing them, but walk up to the door, because they are growing and we want to continue to encourage that. So again, we look forward to welcoming your students into our various campuses and our kinder and pre-K programs.
And at Luna Elementary, we do offer campus tours for our potential families. And if you're interested in that, you can contact Luna Elementary, and I'm the one that does the tours. And it's so fun to provide tours for 3s and 4s. Parents are very nervous, but the students come in. I have the opportunity to walk with them around the hallways and the classrooms in those different areas so that they're somewhat familiar. And so I spend a lot of time interacting with them. And I also tell parents, if you're going to send your child to any pre-K program, during the summer, you might work with them on opening a Ziploc bag, how to open up their lunchbox, using a zipper. Those are going to all come eventually, but any skills that they can come prepared with helps with that confidence right off the bat. They're not worried, well, what if I can't? Guess what? You can, because you've practiced and you've prepared you. So any opportunities that you could give your student just a little bit of independence and reassurance that they're capable, I think that helps to make a smoother transition into pre-K.
And I'd just like to add to that, in GISD, this is, once again, a choice district. So you have options. And yes, we are very aware that there are daycares, there's Mother's Day Out programs, and there's private schools, and those are great, fantastic options. If I would like for you to take something away, is for you to know that our process to get into the schools is very transparent. And not just that, but your child's education will be provided by highly qualified professionals. And so I want to make sure that you heard that right. So when you go, and don't let a shiny, beautiful building just fool you. Ask the right questions. In GISD, we do guarantee you that highly qualified professionals, the best of the best, because that's what your child deserves.
Ms. Nguyen or Ms. Todd, would one of you like to chime in on anything that you think we haven't discussed it, but it's really important for parents to know?
Well, I think all the admins already discussed what the parents, the most important thing that family needs to know. But for me, I would like to add one more thing, is that I feel importance for family to do it, to read to your kids at home. Doesn't matter what language, you can read at home to your child, or let them read to you the pictures. I think that's a time that you get connected to your kid at home, and that is one thing that I think is very important too.
Thank you.
I think everybody has covered most of it. I would encourage, like the previous people have, to go and visit the schools you're considering, because I think when you walk into a building and you meet the people that your child will be interacting with, you're going to get a heart reaction to, this is where my child's supposed to be. I always tell parents when they're trying to pick between programs, go to the school. You will know. Your child will light up. It'll be something that you know, this is my place. This is my child's place. If you have a school that's not being able to receive people because of COVID, if you'll get on the websites and read about the different things that the different schools offer, you can find the best niche for your child as well. And most of all, just know that we're going to love them. They are our world, and that is the reason that we are here. This is why we do what we do. And I'm going to stop there. I'm going to cry. But basically just know they are loved.
Well, wow. It is really hard to sum up tonight, but I'm going to try. If a child comes to GISD, they're going to learn. They're going to be loved. They're going to get to explore, build, find their voice. Even as a 3, 4, or 5, they're going to learn to work together. And so parents, I hope, depending on the parent, some parents are concerned about social emotional and the maturity level, and some parents are concerned about the academics, but we're going to give them opportunities to grow in both areas. And parents, if you haven't figured it out, we got these people on here tonight because not only are they super smart, but they love kids. And they're just representative of our whole district, I think. So thank you for joining us. Please remember to like and share this information. If you have a student entering pre-K or kinder in the fall, the choice period is going on right now. It is from March 21st, yesterday, to May 4th. And you can call your neighborhood GISD school, or you can call Student Services. And that number is 972-494-8255. That's 972-494-8255. And your neighborhood school or Student Services, you will get help with enrollment. So, but you don't have to wait till tomorrow. You can enroll today. You go online, you enroll today. And we're excited to announce that we're going to be hosting 2 evening enrollment days for families. And so they can enroll at the school closest to them. Student Services has set the campus enrollment nights on April 12th for all the schools in Rowlett and Saxe. April 12th, you can go up there from 5 to 7 and you can tell them you want to enroll and you'll get all the help you need. And then for schools that are located in Garland, April 14th, and that's 5 to 7 p.m. And you just walk into your closest neighborhood school and you say, I need help to enroll in pre-K or kinder, and you will get the help you need. So remember, if you have a friend, you're like, man, they should have been here tonight. Let them know that this is going to be on Facebook, and we're going to post it to YouTube tomorrow, and it'll have captions in Vietnamese and Spanish. And we are so glad you joined us tonight. Families, thank you for all of the comments. Thank you for all of the questions. You're the reason that Facebook Live is fun, and that's because we're connecting with families and making sure that we serve you. So everyone, have a good night, and we'll see you next month.